Okay, so I figured I'd go over another little piece of software. There's one called Flare that I've been using. Well, I used it a little bit before I kind of got into Snapseed and stuff like that. But Flare has a couple of neat features in it that are really fast and quick. And so I'm going to just open that up. But I have a picture here. So I got this guy right here. And this down here is the Flare icon. So all I do is I take this and I'm going to drag it on top of Flare, and it should open up here. So this is Flare. So I don't know if anybody's actually used Flare. Most people, when they think of Flare, think of it pretty much as just a whole bunch of presets, and for a lot of people that's probably one of the main reasons that they use it. So we have a picture in here. This is a picture I took fairly recently. And you'll see at the very top here there's a lovely presets, and when you go into presets, of course, presets are going to load up your photo, as well as a list down here, so a list down the right hand side of the screen of all these presets that are built into it. Now I believe too that you can actually go online to Flare's website and download extra presets that like users have created. So you'll see a whole bunch here. And what's kind of neat is that they do a live preview of your photo with those effects put on. So you'll see that I can come down here and pick anyone. Like here's an old view, and if I click on it, it changes nice and fast, resplendent, all kinds of stuff, right? And again, they're just one-click tricks, right, to see what's kind of going on. Video transfer, if you want to see something that looks like an old video transfer. There's yesteryear, Zen. Right, so they're kind of some cool ones. And basically what they're doing is running a fair bit of just kind of preset effects on that, right? Filter poster, looks like folded paper, I guess. CCTV, I think that one's a little over the top, but you know what, you may use it for something. But yeah, there's a whole bunch, and for most people, when they talk to me about Flare, this is kind of what they think, right? It's just kind of a one-click thing. And some of these clicks are pretty cool, depending on your picture. And again, like I said, there are, if you go to Flare's website, you can download, I think it's Flare's, that you can download extra presets. Now, there's the other one up at the top up here called Edit. And Edit, actually, just so you can see, there's this lovely little More Presets button down here. And if you click on it, I think what happens, it happened in my other display, but yeah, it does. It takes you automatically to Flare's website. So if you go up top to Edit here, just to continue, if you go to Edit, again, we're going to load up the photo. And I've got this one with a whole bunch of effects on it, so I'm going to just clear all these, and there's just clear all effect up here. So there's my original. And one of the things you'll notice is it has these three main buttons up to the top. So these three main buttons are basically there's an exposure, midtone brightness, saturation brightness, and contrast. Tint, duotone, color filter, color gradient, black and white, cross processing. Kind of neat. They're just, you know, allow you to go into these little sections and you'll see them pull up. You know, here's saturation. So for a lot of people, they don't even realize that actually Flare does have that ability to play a little bit with actual bars, and like this is I think a $10 piece of software, so actually not too bad. And you can clear the effects one at a time. Your master always lays behind this, so it's almost like a whole bunch of layers. So you can actually play with the actual opacity of that filter to kind of take it all the way off, where you can see the original behind it or slightly add it. So you can play around there. There's tints and duotones for anybody who wants to play with duotones. That's kind of nice. Here, of course, you're going to have some blurs, so Gaussian blur, motion blur, zoom blurs, so you can play around in here. Again, how much of a blur is it going to do, right? Is it running full? Is it just doing a vignette? So I can blur the vignette just so on the outside. So that's kind of neat, right? So you'll see it actually just ignores the stuff in the center and just goes where your vignette would be. So it kind of pulls a mask for you. Again, I'll clear those out. Clear that one out and clear this one up. Sharpen, that's your standard, right? But again, you have these where do you want to sharpen, right? So if you want to do a linear, do you want to do a vignette, which is kind of neat because I could actually just sharpen around the outsides if I wanted, right? Or do the exact opposite, so it actually pulls sharpening around the outside. The other one that's neat too, and I kind of like it, are these, and this is where you're going to actually bring those textures in. So you have grain, and in the presets, this is the stuff that you would see that are built into those presets, right? So yeah, I don't know if you can see that in a screen capture, but we are getting grain in there. This is your texture, right? So what kind of texture you're playing, you'll see texture old paper. And there's a whole bunch of different kinds of texture in there. So if I want that, you know, I don't know, that one's kind of neat, right? And you'll see it instantly kind of change across the top there, right? And you'll see my textures change in there. So again, kind of cool. And then there's a little OK button at the bottom, and that I can take that texture again. I can change its opacity down so I can see how strong or dark it's going to be. I can flip it, I can invert it, all kinds of playing around with those. The other one cool is that light leak. And light leak, when it comes in there, you'll see it says bottom light leak. You see all kinds of, well, this again is like mimicking old film, right, where light would have came in. So I can play around with any one of these. Film positive, I get that nice little blue streak, or I can come in here and say there's a bottom light leak, and there it is there. Again, okay. And again, can I play with that? Most definitely. I can change the opacity of it, how strong it's going to be. I can flip it around so it's at the top, flip it this way, or come in here again, right, and actually say let's do a linear. So let's do a linear left to right. So you'll see it starts over on one side and kind of creeps its way across. And again, you have all the different kinds, how strong it's going to be based on the different overlays. So if I like that look instead, I can get this cool little. Right, so it's going to have all your screen effects, which is nice as well. So if you find when you really do like, this is where you can actually save these as presets. So I can come in here and save this whatever I feel like it. Save it to a snapshot, so this would actually save it as, you'll see up at the top it says snapshots, so it's an effect that you would use a lot, so you can just put it up there and use it whenever you feel like it. So if I like this, I'd be like, cool, that's good, I love it, and I do have the ability to be able to save this, so a lovely little save at the top, save it to a file, save it to Flickr, to iPhoto, or send it as an email, so that's kind of nice. Oh, and one last one, here's your standard rotates and a lovely little crop. So there you go, that's Flare. Cheap little piece of software, but actually fairly powerful. Cool, that's about it. Talk to you guys later.